EP29. How Shore Families Build a Charitable Legacy. Act 0. Cold Open. Walk with us for a moment along a familiar Monmouth County road at the end of summer. The light is low over the Navesink River. A porch lamp comes on in Rumson. Somewhere in a family office, a file is opened, not because there is an emergency, but because a family is asking a patient question. What should our resources make possible after we are gone? That question is larger than a tax return and more intimate than a balance sheet. It reaches from a grandmother's first gift to a local theater, to a grandson's scholarship, to a family name that becomes associated not only with a house or a business, but with a place made stronger. Today, on Heart of the Shore, we are talking about charitable legacy, the quiet architecture behind giving that lasts. We will look at donor-advised funds, private foundations, bequests, charitable remainder trusts, and charitable lead trusts, not as legal products to collect, but as tools families can use to turn values into a durable practice. And we will keep the lens local. The institutions, classrooms, museums, shorewaters, and neighbors of Monmouth County that give philanthropy its meaning. Act 1. The Frame. Why legacy giving matters here. In a place like ours, family history is visible. It is in the name on a boathouse, the photograph in a library, the theater seat dedicated to a parent, and the old farmhouse that survives because someone decided that preservation was worth the work. But a legacy is not simply a plaque. It is a pattern of attention. It is the way a family teaches children to ask what a community needs, how a family evaluates a nonprofit before making a major gift, and how it decides whether its giving should be immediate, flexible, or designed for the next generation. The most useful first step is not choosing an instrument. It is writing down the family's intent in plain language. What places do we want to strengthen? Which causes belong to our family story? Do we want to support one organization deeply, or a set of institutions across the county? Should our children recommend grants? Should the gift last for a generation or in perpetuity? Those questions are especially relevant in Monmouth because civic life here is both personal and institutional. A family may care about a historic house and a hospital foundation, a youth sailing program and a performing arts center, a scholarship fund and land conservation. The aim is not to make every gift look alike. It is to make the overall pattern coherent. The Community Foundation of New Jersey, or CFNJ, offers one useful model for that work. According to its current About Us page, the foundation has operated for 47 years, manages more than $1 billion in assets and 1,200 funds, and works with individuals, families, businesses, and organizations. Its president is Hans Decker. CFNJ's role is to help donors connect charitable giving with financial and estate planning while offering administrative and grant-making support. That is the central idea. Good philanthropy is not only generosity, it is governance. It has a purpose, a process, and a way to revisit decisions as families and communities change. Act 2. The History and the Toolkit. Let's begin with the donor-advised fund. A donor-advised fund is not a separate family corporation. It is a charitable fund held by a sponsoring public charity.
A donor contributes assets, receives the applicable charitable deduction when the gift is made, and then recommends grants to eligible charities over time. The sponsoring organization retains legal control and handles administration, while the donor, and often successor family members, guide recommendations. For a family, the attraction is simplicity. A fund can carry the family name, consolidate grant-making, and create a shared annual ritual. One meeting before Thanksgiving can become a conversation about the arts, education, stewardship of the shore, and the organizations that have earned the family's trust. CFNJ describes donor-advised funds as a way for families to support many interests over time. Its staff can help fund holders evaluate nonprofits, plan a giving strategy, involve family members, and arrange grants. CFNJ's current fund pages also list Monmouth County funds, showing that the vehicle is not abstract, it is already part of the state's philanthropic landscape. A private foundation is a different structure. It is a separate legal entity, generally funded by a family or a small group of donors. The family can establish a board, set grant-making policies, and build an institution with its own identity. That can be meaningful when a family wants an enduring platform, a public presence, or a more formal governance experience for the next generation. It also brings responsibilities: incorporation, tax filings, investment oversight, grant due diligence, conflict of interest policies, and ongoing administration. A private foundation may be the right fit for a family with a clear long-term mission and the appetite to operate a small institution. It is not automatically the better choice simply because it sounds more substantial. Then there are planned gifts. The simplest may be a bequest, a gift written into a will or trust. A bequest can establish or add to a named fund, support a favorite institution, or provide a future gift without requiring the donor to transfer assets during life. CFNJ's Legacy Giving Guidance emphasizes that a planned gift is often designated for a future date through a will or other formal estate plan, and that families can work with an attorney or wealth advisor to express the desired language. A charitable remainder trust, or CRT, can be considered when a family wants to give an asset to charity while retaining an income stream for one or more beneficiaries for a specified term or lifetime. At the end of that period, the remaining trust assets pass to charity. A charitable lead trust reverses the sequence. Charitable payments are made first for a period, and the remaining assets may then pass to family members. These are sophisticated arrangements. They deserve individualized advice from qualified legal, tax, and investment professionals, not a template downloaded from the internet. Finally, there is the question of stewardship. Who will carry the work? A private trustee may offer continuity and a personal relationship. A bank trust department may offer institutional systems, independent administration, and investment resources. A community foundation may combine charitable administration with local knowledge and a network of grantees. The answer depends on the family's needs, the assets involved, the desired level of involvement, and the importance of institutional continuity. History teaches us that a legacy is strongest when its structure serves its purpose.
The form should follow the family's values, not the other way around. Act 3. Present-day practice in New Jersey. What does this look like today in the life of a Monmouth family? It may begin with a family meeting around a kitchen island or in a conference room overlooking the river. One generation explains why a particular organization matters. Another asks how a grant is evaluated. A teenager wants to support a marine program. A parent wants to preserve a historic place. A grandparent wants to ensure that giving remains thoughtful rather than reactive. A community foundation can provide a platform for that conversation. CFNJ says it currently offers tailored giving options, support for grant-making, and help designing both current and future giving plans. Its legacy page invites families to consider a legacy fund and to work with their attorney or wealth advisor on the structure and language. Its contact page lists a Morristown mailing address, Post Office Box 338, Morristown, New Jersey, 07963 0338. A shipping address at 35 Knox Hill Road, Morristown, and the phone number 973-267-5533. For planned giving and establishing a fund, it identifies Hans Decker, President, as a contact.
There is also a practical present-day example on CFNJ's current grants page. The Great Companions Fund is listing 2026 grants for New Jersey nonprofits supporting companion animals, generally in the $1,000 to $5,000 range, with an August 14th deadline shown on the page. That is one small illustration of how a named fund can turn a donor's interest into a defined grant program with eligibility, an application process, and a public purpose. The point is not that every Monmouth family should support animals or use CFNJ or establish a fund this year. The point is that philanthropy becomes more effective when intentions are translated into clear operating choices. Who is eligible, what outcomes matter, when grants are made, and how the next generation participates. For families with existing foundations, a useful annual review might include 5 questions. Is the mission still clear? Are grants aligned with it? Is the board engaged and are conflicts disclosed? Are investments and distributions being monitored? What would happen if the current trustees could no longer serve? For families with donor-advised funds, the review might be lighter but no less purposeful. Which grants made the greatest difference? Which organizations have earned deeper partnership? Are children or grandchildren ready to join the conversation? Is the fund's name, succession plan, and charitable purpose documented in a way the family understands? For all families, the strongest practice is due diligence with dignity. Read an organization's recent filings and annual report. Speak with its executive director or development lead. Visit a program. Ask what the nonprofit can do well, what it is building, and what a major gift would make possible. A good donor is not a distant auditor. A good donor is a careful partner. Act 4. How families support the work. So how might a SURE family begin? First, create a 1-page family giving brief. Write the causes, places, and experiences that matter. Add the institutions already supported. Note whether the family prefers annual grants, long-term endowment, capital projects, scholarships, or planned gifts. This document is not a legal instrument. It is a conversation starter. Second, choose a pilot.
Before building a large structure, make a 12-month plan. Select 3 to 5 organizations. Assign a family member to learn about each one. Attend a performance, tour a museum, visit a conservation property, or sit in on a public program. Let direct experience refine the family's priorities. Third, bring in the right professionals. An estate planning attorney can draft and coordinate legal documents. A tax advisor can explain deduction limits and timing. An investment advisor can discuss appreciated securities and liquidity. A community foundation or other sponsoring charity can explain fund administration and grant making. The family's banker, private trustee, or trust department may have a role as well. Fourth, document succession. Name who can recommend grants. Decide whether children may serve as successor advisors. Explain what happens if a named organization closes or changes its mission. Consider whether the family wants a flexible purpose that can respond to future needs or a narrow purpose that protects a specific intention. Fifth, make room for participation beyond money. Family members can volunteer, serve on a nonprofit committee, host a site visit, mentor a student, help with an archive, or bring professional skills to a board. A charitable legacy is strengthened when children experience the work they are being asked to sustain. And there is a place for institutions to meet families halfway. Clear membership levels, donor briefings, behind-the-scenes visits, thoughtful stewardship reports, and board pathways help supporters understand what partnership looks like. For a Monmouth organization, the invitation might be to a rehearsal, a restoration tour, a harbor walk, a classroom, or a conversation with the people doing the work every day. Whether a family uses a donor-advised fund, a private foundation, a bequest, a trust,
or a direct annual gift, the question remains the same. Does the arrangement make it easier to act with intention? Act 5. Close. A legacy is a local verb. As the light fades over the shore, it is worth remembering that legacy is not a distant noun, it is a local verb. We practice it every time we preserve a place, teach a child, open a gallery, protect a river, support a hospital, or keep a civic tradition generous and alive. If you are beginning this conversation, begin simply. Gather the family, name the values, visit the organizations. Ask your attorney, tax advisor, and philanthropic partner to help you choose a structure that fits. And remember that the most important gift may be the habit of paying attention together. Community Foundation of New Jersey is one place to learn more about donor-advised funds and planned giving. Its website is cfnj.org. The foundation lists 973-267-5533 for general contact, and its legacy giving page is linked in this episode's show notes. The information we have discussed is educational, not legal or tax advice. Your own advisors should guide decisions about your family's circumstances. Love of Humanity is a Monmouth 501c3 publishing free family education. Support this work at loveofhumanity.charity. Donate link on the homepage. One-click Stripe at buy.stripe.com/BJ000 HCL X43NNC000. If you sit on a board, direct a foundation, or trustee a family office in Monmouth, we build co-branded family education with local institutions. Reach the executive director at partnerships@donatetoLoveOfHumanity.com.
Thank you for joining us on Heart of the Shore. Take the long view, keep the conversation open, and let your family's generosity become part of the place you call home. See you on the boards.